Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 12th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. There's BC, Washington, Oregon, upper level low just now moving across Oregon as we speak. Chance of a thunderstorm with this upper level low and some lower snow levels down towards 1,000 feet. Some of the higher hills might get some minor accumulations with this system. We'll take a look at that in some detail. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as well and see if there's any kind of warm-up looming in our future here for the Pacific Northwest, or what kind of systems may be headed our way. This is looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see some nice sunbreaks across BC, some of Washington, sun peeking out here, but you can see the increased shower activity as that upper level low moves across the state of Oregon this morning. Now looking at SeaTac yesterday, 52, 6 degrees below average, 900ths of an inch here. And you can see we're continuing this below average signal here for the first half of April. And that's a good thing here. If you're bringing this precipitation in here and the cooler temperatures, it can kind of tamper down that fire season as we start to head towards those summer months. Here we're looking at the HRRR 3KM. This is the 12Z run. It goes out 48 hours, and you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere here as it moves across southwest Washington towards Oregon during the day today. HRRR's been showing a little bit of a convergence zone here towards Shelton and Olympia. Might get a lightning strike out of that through this afternoon. We'll see how that goes. But you can't rule out a lightning strike across a lot of some of eastern BC, Washington, and Oregon today too, with that upper level low around the area. And then we're going to bring some more precipitation in here as we go on through the day Thursday, and then we'll check out what's coming on in through the weekend and early next week here in a moment. This is looking at last night's European run. Lightning flash density potential will speed ahead till the late morning, early afternoon here, and you can see the chance for a couple thunderstorms out there, and it kind of showing that hint of that convergence zone activity maybe on the south side of the Olympic Mountains. As we get some northerly flow wrapping around the Olympics, you can get convergence zones setting up in different locations, not just across the central and northern Puget Sound. Now looking at freezing temperatures possible, this is for the Willamette Valley here. Doesn't include the Portland Metro, but you can't rule out a frost there. And you can see that freeze watch for that blue area here. This is a good graphic here from the National Weather Service Pendleton showing the track of that upper level low coming down across the area here. So it just kind of shows you a nice visual representation of that. And they're talking about the snow levels potentially down to 1,000, 2,000 feet, just mainly light accumulations there. This is looking at the upper level atmosphere towards 18,000 feet, the temperature. So if we put that into motion, you can see that really move across the area here. And then we get just a couple weak systems here before another deep trough setting up here off the coast of the Pacific Northwest as we start to go through later this weekend. And by the time we're here into Monday afternoon, you can see a chilly air aloft over the region again. So no rest for the weary. It doesn't look like we're warming up anytime soon, but we will take a look at the temperatures here in a moment. This is looking at Portland. So this goes all the way up to about the 18th of April here before potentially some of the models are showing another sign of a little bit of warmer weather here coming up. But there is big model disagreement here, large cone of uncertainty for what's coming here through the later portion of April. So right now we're just in wait and see mode, but nothing too crazy here coming up. We're not expecting any kind of super warm days or anything, especially west of the Cascades. The further you go east of the Cascades, though, it could be a different story. And we'll take a look at some of those temperatures here in a moment as well. This is the run trend. So if you look back towards April 9th, you can see we were expecting maybe a warm weekend coming up here, but it's why you should always check back in the forecast here, because you can see the morning of the 10th here, it said, hey, we're backing up on these temperatures, and it's remained so all the way on in through this morning here. As you can see, we're just not even expected to get up really above 60 degrees here for the Portland area this weekend. Here's looking at Seattle, similar signal here. This is looking at Seattle, 6-hour multiple run trend as well. And you can see that warm weekend kind of disappeared here over the last couple of days. This is looking at Spokane. So you could get some temperatures up towards 60 degrees for eastern Washington as we go through Saturday and Sunday. So again, the further you are east, the little warmer you're going to be. This is for Boise. Look at Sunday shaping up, might to be quite a nice day here. Might get some temperatures up towards 70 degrees even possibly. This is looking at 18,000 feet, 500 millibars. If we put that into motion, there goes our upper level low. We're kind of seeing that little bit of a northwesterly flow here as we go through Friday morning. Try to build some ridging here, but you notice a deep trough right off the coastline there. And again, that's why places like Boise and Pendleton, Spokane might warm up a little bit more than areas west of the Cascades, more clouds. And then we get this trough settling over the region here as we go on in through early next week. And then an even deeper trough kind of showing up here as we go on into the extended a bit more. And this one would have a pretty strong low pressure system out over the Pacific associated with it as well. So we'll watch that trend here over the next few days. But you you can see even on through the extended forecast of the European, showing the west coast of North America again in continuous troughing. Now looking at the European, this is the 6-hour precipitation, mean sea level pressure. There goes our upper level low today. Some convergence zone activity maybe on the south side of the Olympic Mountains here. That might make a nice picturesque scene with some nice white crisp cumulus out there. System tracks on in through Idaho and Montana, and then we get a weak system coming in here through Thursday night, and then we get a stronger front trying to point at the Pacific Northwest here as we go through the weekend coming up. So it almost has an atmospheric river look like it here on the most recent European runs coming up. And then you can see a cold upper level trough and then a potentially stronger storm out here. Look at that 968 millibar low off the coastline, beginning another strong front into the region here into the following week. But that's way out in fantasy land right now. But it does kind of show and give the hint that we may be remaining in a trophy scenario here as we go towards the end of April. This is looking at the dynamic tropopause potential temperature. Here we go with BC, Washington, Oregon, the Hawaiian Islands are here. Here's Japan. And you see here why they call them mid-latitude cyclones. You've got the warm air across the tropics, and you've got the cold air across the polar regions here, and you've got where these air masses meet, known as the mid-latitudes, and that's why they call them mid-latitude cyclones here. So you can see the troughing that continues to develop over the Gulf of Alaska and impacting the Pacific Northwest through the extended forecast here. And then you can see that stronger cyclone showing up in the extended run there. So just kind of an interesting visualization of how the Earth tries to balance itself out. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. This is equatorial Pacific. We're watching El Nino conditions, or El Nino/La Nina conditions, known as ENSO, across the equatorial Pacific. And you can see as we've gone through May of last year, June, July, August, we've gone through the months here, and you can see the warm-up occurring off the coast of South America there, and that's starting to translate across the equatorial Pacific here. So that means we are coming out of La Nina, and we are in neutral conditions now, and we are likely headed towards El Nino. So right now, this is where we measure those conditions. We are right at neutral, 0.0, Nino 3.4. That's the equatorial Pacific. There's the Hawaiian Islands. There's Mexico and South America here, and there's Australia down to the bottom left. And you can see our climb out of La Nina as we've gone towards those neutral conditions. Now, this is what the CFS forecast. It's forecasted our climb out of La Nina quite well, and it shows us being in neutral until about May here. And then we start to climb into El Nino conditions, and it's showing a fairly robust El Nino. We've been talking about this for the last few weeks now, and it clearly shows up here. If you look at the right, this is May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and you can clearly see that signal for a strong El Nino potentially coming, which usually means warmer conditions here across Pacific Northwest, especially as we get on in through January, February, and March coming up. For 2024, there is a high probability that we will be warmer than normal, and almost certainly we will be warmer than what we've had this year so far. So that's something to look forward to coming up. But, we'll see how this trends. Nothing's written in stone right now, but we do have that signal for a strong El Nino coming. Usually means warmer than normal, less snow than normal, but it does not mean we cannot get big windstorms or big snowstorms during El Nino years. It's not always the case. There's always exceptions. February 2019, the huge snowstorm we had here across a lot of the Pacific Northwest was an El Nino year. So just because we're going into El Nino doesn't mean things cannot be active or interesting. This is looking at 6 to 10 day probability, temperature probability outlook, April 17th through the 21st here. You can see the bullseye here across the West Coast, 8 to 14 day all the way up through April 25th there as well. And you got the yin and yang, the warmer air across some of the southeast and some of the troughing over the west. And if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, this is it. Tempest weather system here. It's got UV and light sensor. It's got an ultrasonic anemometer. It's all solar powered, no batteries. It's got lightning detection, and it stores all your data for you wirelessly. I highly recommend this station. I'm running multiple tests. I have 3 stations running at my house right now. I've got them mounted in different areas. I'm comparing them versus different anemometers. So I will share some of those results here over the next couple weeks as well. So anyway, highly recommend this. Click on the link below if you want to save 10%. But get out there and enjoy that. You might get some sunbreaks across the region today. You might hear a clap of thunder, or some small hail might be out there as well. And some of the higher elevations, you might be seeing some snowfall in some of those showers here. But anyway, we'll continue to break this down as we go. We'll watch this extended forecast day by day. We'll watch the El Nino go as we go through the future months coming up here. So I hope you guys are able to get out and enjoy any of those sunbreaks that may occur. And we'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.